Page 128. Beezus tried to grab the vacuum cleaner, but Howie was too quick for her. The room was getting uncomfortably hot, so Beezus darted to the thermostat to turn down the heat. Then she dashed to the other side of the room and disconnected the vacuum cleaner at the wall. It died with a noisy groan. Suddenly, everyone was quiet, waiting to see what would happen. "Hey," protested Howie, "you can't do that." Beezus frantically tried to think of some way to keep 15 small children busy and out of mischief. At least she thought there were 15. They didn't stand still long enough to be counted. "Where's the party?" one little boy asked. Ramona appeared with more toys, which she dumped on the floor. This time she brought a drum. Howie quickly lost interest in the vacuum cleaner and grabbed the drum. Beezus seized the vacuum cleaner and shoved it into the hall closet, while Howie began to beat the drum. "I'm leading a parade," he said. "You are not," contradicted Ramona. "This is my party." Susan snatched a pink plastic horn and tooted it. "I'm in the parade too," she said. "I want to be in the parade. I want to be in the parade," cried the others. That was it. They could play parade. Beezus ran to the bedroom and found a whistle and a couple of horns left over from a Halloween party. What else could be used in a parade? Flags, of course. But what could she use flags for flags? Beezus thought fast. She gathered up 2 yardsticks and several rulers. Then she ran to the front bedroom and snatched some of her father's handkerchiefs from a drawer. She had to move fast before the children grew tired of the idea. "I want to be in the parade," screamed the children. "Mother, help me," cried Beezus. Somehow Beezus and her mother got father's handkerchiefs tied to the sticks and distributed to the children who did not have noisemakers. Howie banged the drum. "Follow me," he ordered, beginning to march. The others followed, blowing whistles, tooting horns, waving flags. "No!" screamed Ramona, who wanted to boss her own party. "You wanted a party," Mother reminded her. "If your guests want to play parade, you'd better join them." Ramona scowled, but she took a flag and joined the parade rather than be left out entirely at her own party. Playing parade was a wonderful idea. Mother smiled at Beezus. "I hope it lasts." "So do I," Beezus agreed. "Bingle bongle bye," yelled the flag wavers. Howie led the parade, including a sulky Ramona, out of the living room, down the hall, through the kitchen and dining room, and back into the living room again. Willa Jean toddled along at the end of the procession. Beezus was afraid the parade might break up, but all the children appeared delighted with the game. Into the bedroom they marched and out again. Beezus opened the basement door. Down the steps Howie led the parade. Willa Jean had to go down the steps backwards on her hands and knees. 3 times around the furnace marched the parade and up the steps again before Willa Jean was halfway down. Beezus opened the door to the attic. Up the steps marched the parade. Stamp, stamp, stamp went their feet overhead. Stamp, stamp, stamp. Beezus remembered something Ramona had enjoyed when she was still in diapers. She lugged Willa Jean up the basement steps, sat her in the middle of the kitchen floor, and handed her the egg beater. "There, don't step on her," she said to her mother. "Thank goodness," sighed Mother. "Maybe they'll play parade long enough for us to fix something for them to eat." "What'll we give them?" Beezus asked. Mother laughed. "This is a wonderful chance to get rid of all the applesauce. Let's hurry and get it ready before they get tired of their game. Get the colored paper napkins out of the cupboard. And, oh dear, what shall we do for chairs?" "They can sit on the floor," suggested Beezus, looking through the cupboard for napkins. "I guess they'll have to." Mother took the applesauce out of the refrigerator. "If we put a couple of sheets down for them to sit on, maybe they won't get applesauce on the rug." The parade tramped down the attic stairs and through the kitchen. "But, Mother," said Beezus, when the drum and horns had disappeared into the basement again, "the only napkins I can find are for St. Valentine's Day and Halloween. They won't do." "They'll have to do," said Mother. Beezus spread 2 sheets in the middle of the living room floor. Then she went into the kitchen to help Mother, who was tearing open 3 boxes of Fig Newtons. "It's a good thing I bought these at that sale last week," she remarked. "Are we going to give them lemonade or anything to drink?" Beezus asked. "Not on my living room rug." Mother rapidly spooned applesauce into dishes. "Applesauce and Fig Newtons are bad enough." "Maybe if we feed them right away, some of them will think the party is over and go home." Beezus piled Fig Newtons on 2 plates. "I hope so. This many small children in the house on a rainy day is too much." The parade stamped across the attic floor again, and Mother had to raise her voice to make herself heard. "It sounds as if they were coming through the ceiling." "Let's catch them the next time they come through the kitchen and hand out the applesauce," Beezus shouted back. "Then maybe we can get them to march into the living room." It was not long before Howie led the parade into the kitchen again. He stopped so suddenly that the children bumped into one another. "When do we eat?" he demanded. "Now." Beezus thrust a dish of applesauce and a spoon into his hands. "I want some," cried the others. Mother handed a second child some applesauce. "Forward, march," she ordered. Beezus led Howie into the living room, and the rest of the parade followed with their applesauce. "You sit there," she said to Howie, pointing to a place on the sheet. She was relieved to see the others seat themselves around the edge of the sheet. Quickly she handed around paper napkins. "I want one with witches on it," demanded a boy who had a Valentine napkin. "I want one with hearts on it," wailed a girl who had a Halloween napkin. Beezus hastily counted the napkins. Yes, there were enough of each kind to go around. 2 napkins apiece would be safer anyway. She handed each child a second napkin, and they all began to eat their applesauce, except one little girl who didn't like applesauce. Ramona was beaming because refreshments were the most important part of any party, and now at last her guests were behaving the way she wanted them to. Mother came out of the kitchen with the plates of Fig Newtons, which she handed to Beezus. "Here, pass these around," she said. I think I'd better help Willa Jean. Willa Jean knew how to eat with a spoon. The trouble was she had to pick up the food with her left hand and put it into the spoon, which she held in her right hand. Then, most of the time, she was able to get it into her mouth. Ramona, her face shining with happiness, looked at her friends sharing the applesauce. "Those cookies are filled with worms,"